Hey, how are you? I am Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here with Fantasy Six Pack to talk about Thursday night football. The New York Football Giants head all the way to the West Coast to take on the San Francisco 49ers. Kickoff is promptly at 8:15, and I don't know, do we get Carrie Underwood singing the Thursday night football theme, or is that just Sunday night, or I don't know. But when we look at this game, it is going to be not good, right? I mean, it's going to be fun if you're a San Francisco 49ers fan. And if you're a football fan, it's going to be great. But if you're a New York Giants fan, it's going to be kind of in the toilet. So everybody's expecting. So if the Giants come out and win, then I look like a fool, which wouldn't be the first time. So it's okay. It's all good. Right now the Giants are 1-1. Frisco's 2-0. Christian McCaffrey and Brandon Ayuk have been unbelievable for the 49ers. But before we get into that, and I have some sweet plays, and this is one of those games, if you're new to the videos here with me at Fantasy Six Pack, I love a good tight end game, and we have two very good ones in this one. We have Darren Waller and George Kittle, and sometimes on single game slate videos, I get a little rambunctious. I go a little overboard when it comes to stacking up tight ends, and I'm going to tell you right now, that is going to be one of those videos, one of those games. But before I do that, let's talk about Fantasy Six Pack briefly. And at this point, it should be second nature. You can become an all-access member for only $9.99 a month, and you get everything. You get customized stuff. You get fantasy football, baseball, any advice you need on our Discord, DFS projections. You get to see fewer ads, more of us. It's a great thing to do. Since it's still early in the season. And when you get there, tell them Beastie sent you. You can tag me in the Discord. You can even find me on Twitter. As I've said, you know my @ you can find me there. I try and pretty successfully answer every question that's asked to me. That's just the kind of fantasy guy, DFS guy I want to be. Okay, enough with the nonsense. Let's talk about this football game. As I said, the San Francisco over-under sits at around 44 points. And looking at my final score total, and I'm not really, it's such a weird thing. I'm not good with math. If you were to just give me like 3 or 4 numbers and say add it up, it would take me a minute. I would use my fingers, right? But when it comes to DFS math, right, and player price tags and what they cost, I can do it in a jiff. It's such a weird thing. But the over-under is at 44 total points right now. I think that hits over big time, and I'll give you one quick little betting trend now before we get to the end. The over has hit in 4 of San Francisco's last 5 games against the Giants. So we shall see if the over hits. I'm going to bet on that one. You're free and clear to do as you please. Let's talk about the players, and let's start with Danny Dimes first and foremost. They're in San Francisco. San Francisco, their defense is very good, and it's only going to get better as the season kind of goes on. So these numbers, again, I say take the DVP numbers with a grain of salt, but right now Frisco 11th overall against opposing quarterbacks, and Daniel Jones last few weeks has been running for his life, and I told you a few times I love the guy. I want to see him succeed, and it's not even about wanting to see the Giants succeed. I am indifferent about the Giants, but I want to see Danny Dimes succeed. He's $16,000 on FanDuel, 10-2 on DraftKings, and $30 on Yahoo. I have Daniel Jones around 21 to 22 completions, 235 yards, 7 or 8 carries for another 40 or 45 yards. You love to see that, and at least 1 touchdown pass. When we look at Brock Purdy, the guy who wasn't supposed to succeed, and I'm not going to go into the Mr. Irrelevant narrative and all that nonsense. He is the Frisco starting quarterback, and he plays the part. This kid is one hell of a football player, and when you look at him going up against the Giants, right now the Giants, they're 12th overall against opposing quarterbacks, but Purdy has so many weapons at his disposal, and they don't need him to do a whole heck of a lot. Stand in the pocket, he can make a play when he needs to, or he can swing it out to Christian McCaffrey and let CMC do the rest of the work. So to me, Brock Purdy, 14.5 on FanDuel, 9.4 on DK, only $23 on Yahoo. That's up to you if you want to put him in or out of your lineups. I'm going to make a lineup with both Daniel Jones and Brock Purdy. But for Purdy's projections, 19 to 20 completions, 235 passing yards, 2 or 3 carries for another 10 yards, and I think he's responsible for 2 touchdown passes. You'll love to see that. As we go down to the running backs, the only bummer here is that we're not going to get to see Saquon Barkley on prime time Thursday Night Football, and that's fine. We wish him the best. We hope he can heal up quickly. He's been hurt in his career before, unfortunately, and he's always, healed up quicker than doctors have projected. So let's hope that's the case this time around. But, in this game, you're going to need to fill that void. Is it Matt BREIDA? Is it Gary Brightwell? Is it Eric Gray? Let's start with BREIDA really quick. Frisco, 17th overall against opposing running backs. BREIDA, $11,000 on FanDuel. No, thank you. $7,000 on DraftKings. $14 on Yahoo. Looking at 10 to 11 carries, 40 yards, a few receptions for another 15 yards. So you're looking at around 40, 50, 55 to 60 total yards for Matt BREIDA, and 2 to 3 receptions, as I said. Just not worth it for me on FanDuel at $11,000. No way. Gary Brightwell, not much going on there. I'm looking at him, 5-6 carries. You're looking at like 30, 32, maybe 35 total yards. Nothing going on there. I think we can get by in this game with fading all of the New York Giants running backs, and that's okay. If there was one guy I would take a shot on, that would be rookie Eric Gray, just because he's the cheapest of the bunch, and in turn, not much would be expected of him. And when you look at Gray, $6,000 on FanDuel, only 1,400 beans on DraftKings, $10 on Yahoo, 3-4 carries, 15-20 yards, a reception or 2 for another 10 yards. So you can get, basically, if I'm reading my own notes correctly, you can get around the same amount of yardage from Eric Gray at $6,000 on FanDuel as you can get out of Gary Brightwell for $7,500. So you can save that 15 hundo somewhere and maybe put in Moody, which we'll talk about. When we get to the San Francisco running backs, we could just skip this whole portion. It's Christian McCaffrey. It's CMC. He is a ton of dough, rightfully so. And right now, the Giants 23rd overall against opposing running backs. He's going to have himself a game, but he's going to cost you $18,000 on FanDuel, $13,200 on DraftKings, and $41 on Yahoo. I have him he's going to touch the ball, 500 times this game. Again, over-exaggerating, but we're having fun, aren't we? I am. Are you? Just let me know. Do a thumbs up right now to yourself or anybody that's around if you're having a great time. I am. Christian McCaffrey, 20 to 21 carries, 100 yards with ease, 4 to 5 receptions, 35 to 40 yards, and he'll find the end zone. So to me, I think Christian McCaffrey getting to the 150 all-purpose yard mark is a given. So if you're going to bet on that player prop bet, I would do that. Use your money, not mine, even though I'm going to place the same bet. We'll move on. But I do, for some odd reason, I like Eli Mitchell in this one too, kind of, because I in terms of game script or game theory, I see this game getting out of hand like late in the third quarter and the entire fourth quarter. I think we'll see CMC sparingly in the second half, in the fourth quarter, but I think it's going to be the Eli Mitchell show in the fourth quarter, and he's only 6.5 on FanDuel, 2.4 on DraftKings, only $15 on Yahoo. So to me, that's the move. We're allowed to do that. Put Christian McCaffrey in your captain spot, and then put Eli Mitchell in a flex spot, and you'll have it all covered from a San Francisco 49ers backfield perspective. Jordan Mason, nothing going on, not even going to mention him. Oh, Kyle Juszczyk, just what are we going to do with this guy? This guy's phenomenal. And, is it going to be one of those games where he scores 3 times or 2 times? I doubt it, because Christian McCaffrey, it's only the 3rd game of the season. He's healthy. He's ripped up. He wants to score, and they're going to feed him. So Kyle Juszczyk, we love you, buddy, but it's not your time yet. Let's wait till we're in week 7, week 8, and then we'll start, amping you up and getting you in the end zone. When we look at the wide receivers here for the New York Giants, Slayton, Isaiah Hodgins, Paris Campbell, Jalen Hyatt, where are we going? It's basically the shell game. As you know, if you ever been on the street in New York, you get ripped off. Someone puts an almond or a penny or something, then they move them around, and it's impossible to guess, right? And it is kind of impossible here. But the one guy I do want to mention is Paris Campbell, because it was Slayton. Check this out. Darius Slayton, 8.5 on FanDuel, 5.6 on DK. Isaiah Hodgins, I would suggest playing him. But when you look at Hodgins, $10,500 on FanDuel, 6.4 on DK. Paris Campbell, their free agent acquisition, who was supposed to be, who was supposed to bring this receiving core to the forefront, and finally we'll have some stability. Sterling Shepard can't stay healthy, things along those lines. Paris Campbell has been, I wouldn't say a letdown. It's only that this is only going to be the third game of the season, and he's been slowly playing. And is this the game that Paris Campbell finally scores a touchdown, puts up 100 yards? I don't know. I can't say. I don't see that happening, but given his price tag, $8,000 on FanDuel, 4.4 on DraftKings, I'm willing to take the risk, and he fits in perfectly with Elijah Mitchell, with Christian McCaffrey, and they're going to want to get him the ball. As I said, Slayton and Hodgins are more expensive, but I have a Paris Campbell more targets and touches. So to me, that only makes sense to put Campbell in as many lineups as we can get our hand on. The rookie, Jalen Wyatt, same thing. He is cheap, $7,000 on FanDuel, 5.2 on DK, bare minimum, $10 on Yahoo. If you want to put him in a few multi-enter GPP lineups, have at it. This kid is a speedster. We've yet to see him catch one of those go routes and just take it to the house, 65, 70 yards. Is that going to happen on Thursday? Again, don't have a crystal ball, but I'm willing to pay the $7,000 on FanDuel just to see if that happens. I'm willing to pay the $5,200 on DraftKings just in case, fingers crossed. When we look at the San Francisco wide receivers, shockingly enough, as it stands now, Brandon Ayuk seems to be their wide receiver one. And when you look at the prices, Deebo Samuel is still priced as their number one guy, right? When you look at Deebo, 13.5 on FanDuel, 8.8 on DK, $20 on Yahoo. I have Deebo, 6-7 targets, 4-5 receptions. You're looking at about, best case scenario, I'm thinking 95 to 100 all-purpose yards for Deebo Samuel. When we get to Brandon Ayuk, he's only $12,000 even on FanDuel, so he's $1,500 cheaper than Deebo Samuel. 8.6 on DK, only $22 on Yahoo. I have Ayuk, 7-8 targets, 4-5 receptions, 60 yards, and I do have Ayuk scoring a touchdown. So to me, that's only right, that's only fair that we're going to put Brandon Ayuk in our lineups with Paris Campbell, with Eli Mitchell, with Christian McCaffrey, and maybe we'll hit something for that one, right? And if you win any money, you can keep it. If you want to send me money, I wouldn't say no, but I'm just saying, hint, whatever. When we look at Juwan Jenkins, nothing going. Ray McLeod, nothing going. Now let's get to the tight end section. We're 13 minutes in. I'm going to move quick so we can get out of here in like 15 minutes. I said I was going to be 10 to 12, but here we go. I get so amped up, and when I'm done with these videos, it's hard for me to kind of lay down and rest and go to bed because I absolutely love doing this shit. So maybe I should put not for kids in this video because I said the S word. Regardless, Darren Waller and George Kittle. Do we even mention Daniel Bellinger? Do we mention Ross Dwelley? No, I'm going to pass. Darren Waller, 11.5 on FanDuel, 7.4 on DK, $17 on Yahoo. Darren Waller, 7-8 targets, 5 to 6 receptions, 60 yards, 65 yards. If Waller could get to that 75 to 80 yard clip, even without scoring a touchdown, I'd be happy. If he finds the end zone, then that's icing on the cake. I cannot tell you that. I cannot predict that. I don't know if that happens. If you don't know, the touchdowns are without a doubt the hardest thing to predict or project in when it comes to football. I can tell you this guy is going to catch 4 passes for 20 yards, and I could hit hit week in and week out, week in and week out. But touchdowns are the hardest thing to tell you that's going to happen. When we look at George Kittle here, right, really quick, the Giants, 13th overall against opposing tight ends. What is George Kittle? It's WWE George Kittle wearing the title belt. He don't care. He'll carry 4 guys on his back like the Little Giants movies, just running into the end zone. This guy doesn't give a crap. He plays football the way I think personally, and more than likely if you're watching this video, as football needs to be played. George Kittle, $9,000 on FanDuel, 6-6 on DK, only 17 on Yahoo, 5 to 6 targets, 4 to 5 receptions, around 50 yards, and I think he finds the end zone as well. So far, so good that we have our lineup. Does it fit money-wise? I'm not too sure because I didn't have a chance to, put a sample lineup together. I wrote my notes. I highlighted some players. I said what they're going to do. This is so I will build a sample lineup. I will share it. Hopefully you do the same thing. And on Twitter or on TikTok, wherever you find these little clips of me or this video, share your lineups. It's okay. No one's going to get in trouble. When we get to the DSTs, it's got to be about the 49ers here. The Giants are 31st overall in terms of giving up points to opposing DSTs, and the Giants already have just a collection. Their defensive line is ridiculous in terms of schemes and sacks and passes defended, and even their secondary is just punching out footballs all along those lines. They are $10,000 on FanDuel, but they are deservedly they do deserve a spot, at least in one line, in a captain MVP spot, because you never know. What if the 49ers put up kind of like one of those, that Dallas Sunday Night Football video or game against the Giants where it was 40-0 and they scored 2 touchdowns on defense and special teams? 49ers have it in them to do that Thursday night against the Giants. 3-4 sacks, a couple interceptions. So to me, the 49ers, Elijah Mitchell, Paris Campbell, those 3 guys, for some odd reason, are speaking my name in MVP captain spot, and this is for GPP purposes. Cash games, you'll have to speak to Dave Eddy, my cohort here, co-host, however you want to put it. When we look at kickers, it's all about the rookie Jake Moody from the University of Michigan. He has been unbelievable, and I saw a tweet where people say he made a bunch of field goals, and it says that's why you draft a kicker in the 3rd round. And Moody is a GD good kicker. He's only 9.5 on FanDuel, 4.2 on DK, and if you have the stones, and if you have the I don't know what you would call it, an ironclad stomach or whatever, put Jake Moody in an MVP captain spot. If you're going to multi-enter or you're going to put in 50 different lineups in a massive GPP, put Moody in there. See what happens. Again, I've spent $1 on worse stuff. I've spent $2 on worse stuff than to put Jake Moody in an MVP captain spot. I have him perfect across the board. 3 for 3 extra points, 2 for 2 field goals, and we are rolling. Before I give you the final score, here's 3 recent betting trends I find interesting. The Giants 8-3 against the spread, their last 11 games on the road. The Giants 1-4 against the spread, their last 5 games against San Francisco. And get this one, San Francisco 7-0 against the spread, their last 7 games at home. San Francisco is at home, so I would bet the money line on San Francisco. It's a sure thing. I hate saying that kind of stuff because if you do lose a couple bucks, I'm the guy you're going to be looking for. I'll give you my address if you want. You can pull up. I'm in Detroit. We can talk about it, but this is supposed to be fun, supposed to be entertaining. Hopefully you take this as fun, as a joke, but hey, we're going to win a couple bucks and we're going to watch one heck of a Thursday night football game. Final score, San Francisco wins this thing handedly, 34-13, sends the Giants back packing 1-2, while San Francisco moves on to 3-0 into brighter, greener pasture. So until I see you again soon, sometime over the weekend, more than likely Sunday Night Football, and then the Sunday morning broadcast here at Fantasy Six Pack. Be good, be safe. San Francisco wins this one 34-14, and just remember this one, San Francisco 7-0 against the spread, their last 7 games at home. That's all you need to know. Frisco wins this one. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.